You come at the king, you best not miss.
You're not locked in this zone 32.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Zone 32 podcast. We got a full crew and a special guest in the building. His name is Drew. His name is Will. His name is Grant.
You didn't say your own name. You didn't say your own name. This is ridiculous. You take one week. You take one. You take one fucking week off from being host and you get the fucking name. My God.
Hey man, somebody had to do Tony Hawk Pro Skater at the skate shop the other day, man. That's why I got the fucking skateboard in the background. You know what it is. But anyway, my name is Jake. And introduce it, the man who has made a name for himself having conversations with the likes of Greg Roman, Mike McDonald. It's not Tricky from Run DMC. This man's name is Trippy. Say what's up to the people.
Hey, what's going on, guys? What's going on with y'all?
I ain't gonna say anything to him. I'm gonna let him say what's up to the people. I'm gonna be nice today.
Usually, Jake's yells at you to shut the fuck up after you say anything after that. He thinks that he's gonna catch you, but
y'all educated him beforehand.
Good.
All right, let's jump into it.
So hold on, we want to get into Trippy here. We got an interesting guest. Put together a nice 100 question list for Trippy about his past and how he became the Ravens super fan. That's basically what we want to know. Is how did you go from when did you start getting there that early to start yelling at coaches, and when did they start recognizing you and kind of giving you love, I guess, paying attention, knowing who you were?
Was it 2018 when we went to we played Tennessee? I can't remember what year it was, but I think Lamar was like a rookie. We beat him like 21-0. It was a little.
We got 11 sacks.
Titans fan, so he was like, "Let's go to the game." So we caught a flight early. Yeah, that was the game. So I was there, drinking early, talking a bunch of shit. You feel me? And it was just a vibe, and we had on-field passes. So I was talking to a couple of players, and I just kept saying, every sack we get that game, I'm gonna yell it out. And then I just took this one picture and posted on Facebook. It went viral, and I just started started going to more games. And then I just get to the games early, and I just used to see the players come by, and I just start coming by talking to them. And I think I really started going viral last year because I had a video week one that went viral at MetLife Stadium. I'm a photographer. I like taking pictures, so I'm taking a little bit of pictures and stuff. I hear fans say, "Hey, sit your ass down." So I'm like, who the fuck are you talking to? But I'm trying to ignore him, right? So then my homeboy was like, "Man, Trip, you just sit down." I'm like, "Nah, fuck that. We paid our money for him. I ain't doing nothing wrong." You feel me? So I sat down. All I kept saying, I can't wait till we fuck him up so I can get up and talk a bunch of shit. So, we started, doing our thing. By then, they couldn't really say shit else, so I just started talking. A couple days later, I see my video on the NFL thing, the week one fan something. And then just going from there. Then I just started talking to Greg Roman, Mike McDonald, started making TikTok videos, started going viral from there. And I just said, I'm going to take off from there. But I always been like a super fan, but I ain't think it'd take off like this, though. So I just, keep it going for the fans. They love it. I love it more. So
yeah, the only one I didn't love was you talking to Greg Roman. We were a very anti-Greg Roman podcast, but you
were too nice for our taste at the time. But
I don't know if I could get that close to Greg Roman and not yell, something terrible at him. So
yeah,
I remember that video though. Wasn't that the video that he had two sets of sunglasses? He had a set of sunglasses on his shirt and a pair on his face.
Yep.
that was the best part of that whole video was him and his look. He showed up. He looked fresh. He had the two sets of glasses on, and everybody was, "What the fuck?" And they were like, "This is the first 48 guy." Because I think the week before, wasn't it the week before where you got McDonald and you said it's not the first 48, 60 minutes?
Yeah. That was the I think that started when we played the Bengals, whatever week that was. That's when it started.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. Because that was coming out of the
that was the next home game after the Miami.
The Miami game. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
that makes
Miami
sense.
Game. Yeah,
that makes sense. Yeah. Well, so and something we probably need to cover here. You and Drew had a little bit of internet beef going.
Hold on. It's not internet beef. It was all. I'm going to blame Hassan for that. I don't even remember what I DM'd him, to be honest. I was probably pretty hammered at that point. And then you ended up blocking me, but I'm sure I deserved it.
Yeah,
I deserved 90% of it.
Look, see, one thing about me, I don't usually block people, but I don't know what it was. Maybe I was just like, you know what? I'm just sick of this motherfucker. Let me just block him. But I don't think it. But you know what was funny though? When I finally went back to your page, I said, "Oh, this motherfucker blocked me too." So I said, "Oh, so." But it wasn't like no beef though. But I understand what it was though, because I mean, you got your opinion, I got my opinion. But like I said, I was just doing it for like content. It wasn't like no. Because I could have easily said the same thing, like, yo, Greg Roman, fuck you, you suck, or, you know what I mean? But I ain't that type of person, because, like, you know, at the end of the day, that's their job, like, you feel me? But
yeah, you're a nice person and I'm an asshole is basically what it boils down to. I totally get that.
Well,
Hey,
also, yeah,
Trippy, at least once a day, I want to block him too. So
Yeah. Once a day, once an hour. I would
me and Trippy had a dust up online too at one point because Trippy tried to dip his toe in the mock draft world, and his first attempt at it, he just for no reason he traded down from the 3rd round to the 4th round, and I said, "Hey Trippy, why are you trading down from 3rd to the 4th round and you didn't get anything back?" And he goes, "How the fuck should I say?" I know. I said, "Well, you're the one who did it. I'm asking you, man."
I don't. To be honest with you, I don't really like doing that mock draft shit, man, because that shit be a little tricky. I was just doing something. Probably was just, you know.
Yeah,
That made me laugh.
buttons.
Yo, that made me laugh so hard when I said, "What's up with this trade down?" You go, "How the fuck should I know?" I said, "Well, I mean, it's your draft, buddy. I'm asking you."
Right. But see, that's before I really got to know you though, because it be so many trolls on there. I don't know who's who, so I gotta figure who's who.
Yeah, yeah. No, and we didn't block each other or anything like that. That was just a minor misunderstanding, I'd say.
Right.
But yeah. But since then, I think it's all water under the bridge. The podcast and Trippy all on the same page here. So we're looking forward to a nice, long-lasting friendship here.
Well,
Yeah,
plus I usually go drink by the gate that Trippy hangs out at before games. So because my seats are right near there, so I'll have to grab a couple beers this year before games.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
especially if you're hanging
Grant's
out
out there a lot. Yeah, Grant's out there too. But typically he gets lost. He goes across town and has a hot dog. Yeah.
no, see, you keep saying a fucking hot dog. I go to McGurk's for a cheesesteak. So
you go to McGurk's?
I go there, get a cheesesteak, get a bucket of beer.
Spot. I like McGurk's.
Grant, Will and I were supposed to have drinks before the Broncos game last year. And he, I was like, okay, well, I'm heading over to the stadium at 12. And he texted us at like 11:45. And he's like, hey, I'm at McGurk's. And we're all the way across town.
Yeah, we're like, that's like a 55-minute walk. So probably not going to see you.
And I was not leaving before my cheesesteak got there. Like, I love y'all and everything, but that cheesesteak was that was me at that time.
He was waiting on that cheesesteak for 2 hours.
It was like an hour and a half. It was insane. I was like, this is but I know it's worth it.
Yeah, Will and I got to the spot at 10 o'clock. Grant's like, I'll be there in 20 minutes when my cheesesteak gets here, and then he just never came.
Yeah, Lacey was there. We were all there. I mean, it was like a whole gathering of Ravens Twitter people, and meanwhile, Grant's across town with some random old man on a fucking park bench eating a cheesesteak.
Was that the game that Cole came to?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we were at that event. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he wanted to link up too. But see, it'd be so much going on because when I be doing my thing with the players, but maybe I start like afterwards though. But it'd be so much going on. That's why I don't go to Jimmy Seafood no more. Because by the time I get them drinks in me, man, I be.
Well, yeah, that's a tough ride over from Dundalk all the way over to the stadium too.
Oh no, not Dundalk, Jimmy. I'm talking about the tailgate.
Oh, you talking about the tailgate? I got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Man, that's a blast. I went there one time, and I found out that because like they'll make you as many drinks as you want. So I'm sitting there I'm like, yeah, I'll take 2 or 3 Jameson and gingers, and they're sitting there, and then they're giving me shots while they're making my drinks. So I'm like, man, this is great because you stand in line enough, you might as well triple fist, get a couple shots, and go about your day. But this was that Sunday night game. Well, I guess it was 2 years ago then. The Sunday night Steelers game. It was the last game of the season when RG3 beat the Steelers.
I was there for that. Yeah.
It was like kind of rainy. So we all got too fucked up.
That was 2020.
We're not going in the rain.
Yeah.
So you scared me for a second when you said the Sunday night game. Because I think the last Sunday night games against the Steelers, I know y'all heard what happened.
Oh yeah, Najee Harris. Yeah, Najee Harris broke.
Oh yeah, took your tout. Yeah. Oh, he broke your camera too.
Yeah, we're
No. Actually, he didn't even break my camera. See, it was a little incident that happened in the smoking section. He
I
ain't
thought
break.
you knocked your camera
Oh,
down.
trust me, if he would have broke my camera, it would have been more than just some old. I'm just sitting here like, no, I would have been at him like, hey, buddy, I need my camera. X, Y, Z, fix this and that. But no, it wasn't
He's
like
a
that.
first round pick, so you could definitely get you one. Yeah, we're still
But
anti Najee Harris though.
Yeah, you would have had Pickensburg in your replies if you started doing that.
oh yeah, that dude,
Yep.
something he's weird. But I
don't know
love
if
it though. I love the troll though, because like no matter what the Ravens post, he always got something to say. And then I find it so weird. We got our CB1 always like commenting and all that, but he got me blocked though, which is weird. But
Trippy won't even say
Mar-
his name. He won't even use his
Yeah.
government name.
yeah,
Marlon. Well, I mean, Marlon doesn't like mac and cheese, so I feel like being blocked by him.
Exactly.
Is like, he doesn't like good things, so it might be
And
a
that's
compliment.
questionable.
To block you.
It's a questionable decision to dislike that. Yeah.
Well, Trippy, I got some good ideas that we're gonna talk about offline for how to integrate what you do with what we do with game days and with all sorts of stuff. So I think people listening should be excited about some of these ideas. I know.
Yeah, I got you.
We've been talking about it, and we like the the prospect. So thanks for coming on, and I guess now we're going to get into the meat of the program here. Go ahead, Jake.
All right, then that we will. So let's jump into Jalen Hurts. The Eagles and quarterback Jalen Hurts reached agreement, I believe it was on Monday, on a 5-year, $255 million contract extension with $110 million guaranteed at signing. I believe year 2 it becomes $126.5 million guaranteed, and I believe for injury and the total guarantees it's $179.5 million. Which, if you listen to this show or you pay attention to any of the little nuggets and crumbs that have been sprinkled through NFL media for the past year or so about the contract details that Lamar turned down in August of 2022 or September, it's eerily similar to what Jalen signed for. So as always, start with the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Drew. How does this impact our quarterback's future plans in Baltimore?
I got no fucking idea what Lamar wants to do, what Lamar's plan is. I mean, good for Jalen Hurts. I don't think he's near the quarterback that Lamar is, like from, physical talent standpoint. I don't think he's as good of a thrower. I don't think he's as good of a runner, but that's kind of like the market for quarterbacks now is, that $51-52 million a year, the, about half guaranteed at signing and, 75% guaranteed for injury. So if that's what Lamar wants to sign, then just put the offer on the table, get it done. I'm kind of over the contract shit at this point because I think he's back. I mean, I think it's pretty clear that he's coming back, and it's really is he playing out the tag or does he have an extension? I missed the Jalen Hurts contract news, so I didn't see much fallout right away. It was another one of those days where I got a text from Will of like, "Hey, are you alive? Like, what the fuck's going on?" I don't know when he actually signed, if there was a huge, blowback on Ravens. So I do know that a lot of people were playing this, it's a team-friendly contract game, and it's not. He's making, the most AAV of a player in NFL history, and again, like third most guaranteed money. So this whole argument that it's a team-friendly contract is ridiculous. We have some very dumb fans who like to push narratives that are not true, but end of the day, I just want Lamar here. I just want to win a Super Bowl. I mean, that's really all I care about. And so if that's, signing Lamar the way, the exact same contract as Jalen Hurts, then cool. And if it's, letting Lamar play out the tag and going the Kirk Cousins route, and that's what makes him happy, then cool. I mean, it is what it is at this point. We got Odell, we got Bateman, we might have Hopkins, we might have a first round wide receiver, we might have, somebody like Mingo coming in the mid rounds or A.T. Perry. Just let's fucking win. That's really all I care about at this point.
Yeah. So here's the biggest takeaways from the Jalen Hurts contract. Number one, he got a very similar deal to what was offered to Lamar, except that Lamar's was better. So what it tells you is he's the 10th quarterback to sign since the Deshaun Watson contract. So, Lamar Jackson, if he's truly seeking a fully guaranteed contract or a contract with as much money fully guaranteed in the deal as Deshaun Watson got, it's getting further and further away from him because that's 10 quarterbacks now who haven't come anywhere close to that number. His numbers on his contract, this is the second part, are in a lot of ways better than what Jalen Hurts signed. So he beats him, I think, in like 3 out of 5 metrics. They're
He
similar
missed him by,
play.
and he
You know,
missed him by
it,
$4.5 million on injury guarantee. That's the only thing that Jalen Hurts had.
right,
Over.
and everything else, Lamar, beat him. The biggest one that tells you, I think that, and Sarah Ellison really pointed this out. The one that really jumps out is the new money in year one. So Jalen Hurts, I believe, is getting about $60 million in year one of this contract in new money, and he was set to make $4 million. So, it's a huge jump for him. It's a big payday. Lamar Jackson would have been getting $88 million in new money cash flow. That's not cap money. That's just what would be paid out to him in the first year of the contract. And it would be by far the biggest amount ever paid to any quarterback. The next closest is Dak Prescott at $75 million. So the fact he turned that down, this is where opportunity cost is just, you can't even really calculate how much money he's losing, because having the $88 million in hand is so valuable to him.
In a savings account. Even if you just put in a regular,
if you put that
savings.
if he went and put that money into any bank except for Silicon Valley Bank, then 1 year later he will have made $9,000 per day on that money. So that's $3.2 million.
For doing nothing too.
Yeah. $3.2 million he would have made on that, and that's on the difference between what he made, the $23 million on the 5th year option, and the $88 million he would have banked. So that's a $65 million difference. He would have made $3.2 million just for having the money in his possession. So people who are saying he's smart, he's waiting it out, he's betting on himself, he'll just make that money anyway. No, he won't, because guess what? The money he made in interest also compounds. So he's missing out on the interest, gaining interest. It's just the people who don't understand this concept. They're like, he's rich, it doesn't matter. Well, if he's rich and it doesn't matter, then he should take a veteran minimum deal. If he doesn't care about money, he clearly does. He's a guy who said in the past, I want to be a billionaire someday. You know how billionaires get really rich? They get rich and then they let the money make money for them. So
and they don't say no to somebody handing you $90 million.
And not just $90 million, because $90 million is $90 million, but $90 million being the most money that anyone in his position has ever been offered. In that, Deshaun Watson didn't make that much money in the first year of the deal.
Yeah, would he make 65, I think, right?
Right. So like all these people talking about guaranteed. Listen, Lamar Jackson's going to make every penny in his contract. It's just silly to think otherwise. He's not like a journeyman cornerback who's going to get cut, going into year 2 to save cap space. He's going to make the money. So all $200 million in practical guarantees were going to get paid to him, and likely he was going to see every penny of the 250 and more than that, because he will have renegotiated after 3 years, because into year 4 and year 5 the cap hits would get so big they would want to spread those out, and he would want new money anyway because the market will have been reset. So he's going to want a bigger AAV. So just none of it makes sense from a business perspective to say no to that deal, knowing what we know now. And now I understand he didn't know that all these things were going to happen when he said no back then, but he looks like he made a terrible mistake now that you see how things unfolded. And a lot of people said that's how it was going to go. So,
well, yeah, I mean, he's only 26. So like, that's the end of it. Is like, okay, yeah, he's got his money in mind that he wants. We know what the market is for what it is. He's got the 90 million up front year 1. We all know that those big contracts, they're all going to restructure after, like you said, 3 years. The 3 to 5 year window is that 3 and 4 is usually the restructure window. If you're going to keep the guy, that's where the most money is on the back end, just like the Hurts deal. The Hurts deal is insane money on the back end. He'll never get to that part of the
doesn't
money.
Matter, Grant. That's not real.
Yeah. You mean in cap?
Correct.
No,
correct.
Yeah, but I've been told online that it does not matter, that those cap hits are $156 million over the last 2 years.
No, that's not how it works.
Team friendly.
Yeah.
Team friendly.
And so, but at the end of the day, what he would do is if he gets that money, he's got that 90 million up front that first year, he's setting himself up for another big payday. So the longer he waits, the like Will said, not only the interest money he's cost himself, but his future deals he's cost himself. And everybody looks to compare. Josh Allen's working on another deal right now.
Mm-hmm.
He's already gotten a deal. And
that's why you said that he's 26. So so he's 26. Great. He's young, whatever. But he's also in year 6 of his NFL career we're going into.
Right.
And we're talking about Josh Allen signed 2 years ago. He's about the same age, right? I think they're within a
I think
year of
he's
each other.
28. I
Okay,
think he's
so
28.
but so
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson's not going to be he's going to be damn near 30 years old by the time he's negotiating his second free agent deal, and Josh Allen's about to do it when he's going into year 28. He's going to be age 28, maybe 29 when he's
Well,
negotiating
that's
that
what
deal.
Lamar could do too, because he's 26. If he restructures at 29, that's 3 years into the deal. Josh Allen's about to restructure coming up on his 29th, year of age. And that, I mean,
We're also talking about years in the league though too. So,
yeah, yeah.
like especially two guys who take a beating. So I mean, and both of them, I'm not going to overstate or understate their injury risk. It exists, but the longevity of their career, we're not talking about a Tom Brady who's going to play for 20 plus years the way they play football.
Right.
I interrupted you. Go ahead. Sorry, Grant. I think Grant froze.
Well, I'm just tired of hearing about it because it's like, and then it's like when I comment on it like earlier, all I said was, man, I just wish Lamar stopped being stubborn and just come back to the table and try to negotiate. You got motherfuckers coming down my neck talking about stop pocket watching. I ain't say no numbers or nothing. Come back to the table so we can get like, you know what I mean? Because it's crazy. We got Odell Beckham, right? But we still don't know what Lamar want to do. Like, he not coming to the table. Like, so what is it? You feel me?
Did you see? Yeah, did you guys see that?
Deal,
yeah, did you guys see the Josina Anderson tweet? Or I guess it was pulled from a podcast. She was talking to Calais Campbell.
Exactly, and that's what I said. And
yeah, I saw something that.
And it's crazy because, like, I feel, I mean, matter of fact, Calais exactly explained it right. Like, maybe he just misunderstood. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, look at the numbers, right? And then it's like everybody keep coming out and saying, well, he ain't asked for guaranteed money. But basically, we could tell it's all about the money because it ain't about guaranteed money. Why you not trying to sign a contract or something?
Right.
So,
exactly.
I mean, I don't get it, but I just feel like he's stubborn. That's just me. Like, I love him as a player. Like, I just wish we can get the shit done so these fans can stop. Like, because it's like, it make us fans, like, turn against each other. Every day is the same shit. You feel me? Like, no matter what it is, no matter what the Ravens post, like, the Ravens could post somebody's birthday tomorrow or happy birthday this person. Oh, is Lamar going to be signed in the comments? It's like, always, it's no matter what. You feel me? Like, people are at Lacey or something like, hey, you know what I mean? What's going on? Like, it's just, it's crazy. Like
today,
crazy,
they're announcing the M&T Bank Stadium, naming renewal, and people are in the comments about Lamar Jackson. Like, what the fuck is it? It's a bank sponsorship. It has nothing to do with a contract for a player. Yeah. It's crazy.
Well, I don't get what I mean. I think it's corny when people tag her in anything like front office related and everything.
Right. Yeah. And when and people who will defend the people who do that, they're like, oh well, she shouldn't put herself. We shouldn't even go down this road. We shouldn't even go down this road. But it's just so it is. Yeah. It's one of the dumbest things that happens in this fan base.
Even tweeting the team account, being like, "When are you going to extend Lamar?" is fucking stupid because I think it's Cassie, Mink, and Downing that run that account, right? Yeah, I'm sure they have. Exactly. I'm sure they have interns. So like, it's people that don't have anything to do with football operations. And like, I'll fire off tweets here and they're like jokes in the replies of like, "Hey, you should do this," but I'm not like really like aggressively looking for them to announce a contract extension. I mean, I bother Jeff Zreback about it all the time too. It's just. That's for laughs, Jeff's a good guy, like he takes it well, but it's people take this shit so seriously, get down so many people's throats for no fucking reason, and it's all because Lamar doesn't have a contract.
Yeah, I had one. Oh my bad, go ahead.
Oh no, go.
Yeah, you're right. Cause I remember I just found out my aunt died. It was like on a Saturday, right? So I went to sleep, wake up, I get an inbox saying, "Hey, you know about Lacey page private?" And I'm saying to myself, like, what the fuck? Why are you asking me? Like, me and her got a relationship, like, we're cool, you see what I'm saying? So, like, why you asking me that? Like, and I don't blame her for locking her account because you got some fans, they just want to be dickheads all the time, like, and I had to tell some people in the space, right? I said, at the end of the day, right, you got to understand, like, before she met Eric, she was a Ravens fan. She's from Baltimore, right? And then it was crazy because I saw y'all podcast, right? And I was like, damn, it's crazy I said that. Then I saw y'all podcast, but I never saw it until, like, a couple months, like, like, 2 months ago.
Recently, yeah.
And I'm like, damn, he was just talking about that. You see what I'm saying? And like fans really started to think about it, like, you know what, yeah, but it kind of blew me because I was saying to myself, like, I lost my aunt, like, I'm not even worried about no Ravens right now, you feel me? But you got some fans, they wake up, that's just to show, like, they looking at her page like, oh damn, her shit locked now. Like I wonder why. You know what I mean? Just like the shit just dumb because everybody got a life. You feel me? Like
Yep.
you know what I mean? Everybody can like don't get me wrong. Everybody got their own opinion. They can do whatever they want, but some stuff people do is just dumb. You feel me? And that's why like I guess the world it is what it is. Like yeah, it's cool to troll and all. Like I know my man Drew troll. Like I caught on to it too. Like earlier when the dude met, I actually went to high school with him. I think he said I think it was about the draft or something when Drew was like
Zay Flowers and
yeah,
so Matt's a big Marquise guy. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean I like Hollywood too, but I'm just saying like fuck the 5'9" shit. Like Zay Flowers is just like a dog. Like you say, he born to be a Raven. Like that's one of the players like play like a Raven. Like you know what I mean? That in my eyes, you see what I'm saying? Built like it, more explosive. You feel me? So
Grant likes what he's hearing from you, Trippy.
Yeah, big Zay Flowers guy over here. Big Zay Flowers guy over here.
Yeah. That's one of
He
the
just not, and I tell people, I mean,
on.
like when I watch him, so I like to break down receivers a lot. Like that's, I mean, college and pro. I like to see fits, who would fit where. Like I was a kinesiology major in college, so like I look from the ground up, from the feet, how like body alignments, how they break routes, strengths, all that stuff. And like when I watch Zay Flowers, I'm like, that dude is like, he's a superstar. Like the way he gets in and out of breaks, thinks his hips, the way he uses his body, his explosiveness, he's aggressive. Like he's a more athletic Steve Smith Sr. And like it's eerie, but like not saying, you know, I hate the comparisons to Antonio Brown and Steve Smith Sr. because they were, you know, they're Hall of Famers. Antonio Brown's probably not gonna get in, but he should be. And like the thing with the two, Hall of Fame talent. And it's hard saying that about a rookie, but when you see what he brings to the table, he's got that type of potential with his intangibles, and he's just got that. He's just special. And like people were big on JSN, you know, I get that he's an athletic playmaker, you know, he's a yak guy, but like Zay just brings a whole different element to the position, and we missed that in Baltimore. I mean, Bolden was gritty, Mason was gritty, C. Smith Sr. was gritty. Like we're used to having that guy to lean on that's going to get the extra fight in them, and we haven't had that in a while.
Oh, I mean, look at the losers. Look at the losers that have been throwing Zay Flowers the ball in college too.
Yeah,
I mean, I went and watched him play twice at BC because that was I used to live right down the street from BC, so like it was 10-minute walk up the street, and their tickets are like $3 because they suck. And so I'd go watch him. He's just unreal. Like he is just he's that good, and he doesn't have Jason has had like C.J. Stroud and Justin Fields throwing to him, and Zay Flowers. I couldn't even name BC's quarterback at this point. Like he
could have transferred too. I mean, he could have used the portal, and he decided to stay, which I thought was pretty dope.
Yeah, because he said that BC was the only school that gave him an offer. So he was like, I'm gonna be loyal to them because they were loyal to me, which I appreciate. So that's another guy. Again, that's that kind of like that Ravens mentality. And you put him with Lamar Jackson and Monken, I feel like it'll be a problem.
And Odell.
But I'm saying, like, I
Bateman,
in a perfect world, and Andrews and Duvernay and anybody but Proche, and they'll be good. But
we haven't gotten Trippy's thoughts on that yet.
Hey Drew, why?
Yeah, go ahead.
What? Well, I mean, look, I ain't gonna lie, me and Pro, we actually cool. But I mean, I get what y'all saying though. But I just want to see what he can do with a new offensive coordinator. That's all. I mean, that's all.
But at this point, do we want him on the field though? Look at what we got. I mean, he's maybe the sixth receiver at this point. So what's the point? Don't you think it would benefit him to go somewhere else and get a shot to actually be in the real rotation?
I mean, I talked to his uncle. I mean, shit. Me and his uncle are cool now. We had a rocky start. He called me a pedophile and didn't understand a joke that I made on the internet, which is fine. But we've smoothed things over now.
I think I heard some stories about him.
Yeah, he's a cool guy.
Mo Stone.
Mo Stone's a pretty cool guy. He's a pretty pretty normal guy once you crack the exterior of he's very defensive of his nephew. But like you said, he's like it's not fair to James to keep him on this team and not give him a real shot. And now that we're going out and getting Odell and we have Bateman coming back and we're potentially taking a wide receiver in the first round, like you're burying Proche again on the depth chart. So why not, either cut him loose or trade him for like a 6th round pick or whatever you're going to get back for him and just, let him go somewhere else, see what he can do.
Even if we took a receiver in the 3rd or the 4th round, I mean, they should get priority over Proche at this point. He's a 6th round pick who's been here for 3 years and he hasn't done shit. So, I think that's long enough. That's a big enough investment in a 6th round pick And
I'm sure he's a nice guy too.
I doubt they can get anything back for a 6th-round pick who hasn't done anything and who threw the most fucking ridiculous interception in the history of the NFL.
That was
Brucey's time
awful.
to shine, baby.
I cannot believe he threw that ball still. The amount
I can't believe that shit. I can't believe it either.
the amount of confidence that man had letting go of that ball, and it was just in
He
the
tapped the
quadruple
ball.
coverage.
He tapped the ball and said 500.
He looked in his
That
defense.
was-
He looked good throwing it. Like he looked like he knew what he was doing, but the ball just he
Yeah,
can't.
it looked good. It definitely looked good when he was throwing it. Definitely did.
He,
I
he-
was sitting.
he had his
I
eyes
was sitting
closed.
right behind.
Yeah.
I was sitting right behind that play, so I was like watching it develop, and I'm like, "Oh my god, this is a touchdown!" And then I'm like, "No, there's 4 guys down there. This is bad."
Yeah, he shouldn't have had that McGurk sub before the game because it slipped out of his hands when he was trying to let it go.
Yeah, he had something. 'Cause I don't
You
know what
spotted
he was
him.
thinking.
He got stuck in line with you.
Yeah, he was waiting. I ordered mine first, but I let him jump me. It was cool. I needed a game to get to.
So it was your fault. Is what you're saying? Is that you caused the interception, Grant? I understand that. Yeah, and I mean, I just feel like we're in like a good spot now with wide receivers for once. It's been a lot of years since I've actually been able to like confidently say that. But if we just go grab a first round wide receiver, we have Talon Wallace can be our depth guy. Again, he's got like another 2 years on his rookie contract anyway. And maybe you pick up you bring DeMarcus Robinson back, or I don't know, another veteran guy that gets cut during camp, and we're in really good shape. So, why hold back somebody like Prochet, or why hold back somebody like Duvernay, even if somebody's going to give you something for him?
Or even if they're not. I mean, you save money getting rid of Prochet right now.
Yeah. And we could use the cap space. Like you said, we have, $600,000 in cap space. So
I'm sure he
But
could
then-
I'm sure he'd get an opportunity somewhere else.
yeah, well, I
He's
mean,
going
this
into
is
camp.
like-
Yeah.
1.5 mil, something like that.
yeah, it's like 1.2 mil we save by cutting
Yeah,
him.
I think we get a decent amount of cap space out of it. So
I mean, yeah, and you know what? If he
But
goes
we could do
to, I was gonna say, if he goes somewhere and does well, like good for him. Like that's, I have no hate for him. I have hate for the people who thought, you swore to me for years that he was going to be an All-Pro, but
yeah, that's
no hate for James
that's the
Prochet.
real thing, Trippy, is like the reason we got so anti-Prochet is because of the people, the weirdos who are so big on him when he's never done anything. They act like he's like, that we hate the guy and he's accomplished something. These people who saw him, in the preseason make a couple plays and act like he's fucking Jerry Rice. Those it's the same people we get into it with on Twitter for any fucking reason. It's like basically why we don't like anybody on Twitter, just
Right.
because they're annoying about something, and and so Prochet became the person who took the focus of that from us, because there's too
Like, I
many
would
other
say-
people to focus on besides Gamer God.
He's a troll anyway. Yeah, I learned that early. I used to fucking butt heads with that kid all the time until I realized he was joking 90% of the time. But like J.K. Dobbins had the same hype behind him. You know what I mean? Like coming out, and he had a couple good games in the preseason his rookie year, and people were like, "This guy's going to be legit," and then he actually backed it up on the field.
Right.
And so it's like, okay, that's a guy that's deserving of you, defending him, saying he should get 20 carries a game. And Prochet has just not done anything to prove that. And, granted, there's Greg Roman offense. Like, it's not all his fault, but I just think his time here is done at this point.
If we were going into
I
year
agree.
2, if we were going to year 2 of Prochet, and it was like, okay, let's see what he's got. That was the Greg Roman offense. Wide receivers get held back. Then I'd be all for it. But this is we've seen three fucking years of this guy already.
Yeah.
You know what I really think it is though. What I really think was the last draw with Raven fans. And I felt bad for him too, because I was like, damn, if this motherfucker would have made that catch, maybe the Ravens block would have let up on him a little bit.
I would have
And you know exactly
forgotten.
what I'm
I would have
talking
forgotten.
about.
I would have forgotten everything.
Everything.
exactly
He'd have
what
been
I'm
all
talking about. I
pro,
ain't got
like
nothing to play
everything.
I would have bought a butterfly T-shirt if he made that catch at the end of that game.
And that's crazy.
Channel
And-
3, I'd be on that shit right now.
I'd be
And that's
wearing
crazy.
Channel 3 merch. I'd be
That's the
wearing Channel
last-
3 merch right now.
and that's the last play I remember of the Ravens season. That last play
Oh.
right there. Like
That was it.
T-Rex arms.
Yeah, I
he
mean,
would have just made that play.
and the tough thing for him is that still picture that was taken, or yeah, I think it was a picture. It wasn't like it's not a screenshot. Some photographer got a picture that looks like the ball was thrown directly to him and hit him in the hands. It wasn't that. It wasn't that easy. It was like it was a reaction play, but it hit him. It did hit him in the hands. if
I
he
mean,
had
I
made the
said
play,
that.
but I
I've
feel
seen
like
my
he could have made it.
I've seen my screenshot floating around a lot because I'm the one. I took a still frame of that last play and I tweeted out and I was like, "What the fuck?" And I've seen that one reposted multiple times and I'm like, "There's just you got to catch that. Like you'd be a Ravens legend for that one catch." And you just
Ravens legend. No matter what, I don't give a fuck if you don't never catch another pass for the Ravens. You will be a Ravens legend just for that one play.
no doubt.
Yeah,
But
I'd be
Definitely.
sitting here talking about how we could save $500,000 by extending him if he made that catch.
Right.
Well, and the thing is I feel like those things happen against the Ravens. Like if there's a team that if that was the reverse role, Bengals would have caught that on a tip at the end of the game.
We've seen it. AJ
100
Green.
times.
AJ Green. Remember the same fucking? Well, it was at halftime, but
Yeah.
We don't ever
same
get
thing.
like that.
About a decade ago.
Yeah.
How many times does Lee Evans catch that ball in his career? The one that Sterling Moore knocked out of his
That
hand.
was like his route. That front corner.
Yeah, back corner end zone over the shoulder. That was his shit. That was what he made his money on. That's what made him huge in Buffalo.
Right.
And then the one meaningful spot he gets that play dialed up to him in fucking New England, he drops that shit. How many times did Billy Cundiff actually like miss meaningful kicks in his career?
He was a Pro Bowler.
Yeah, he was a solid kicker, and then he had that one fucking miss that everybody.
Then he got the yips.
Yep. Yeah, he went to Seattle after that, didn't he? And he was terrible. Or no, Minnesota.
Minnesota, and he was just
Minnesota.
He came from Seattle to here, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was just.
I'm just glad that motherfucker left, man. He broke my heart that year, man.
Well, and ended up turning into Tucker eventually. So
yeah.
I mean, I live in Boston. I live in Boston, Trippy. So I've been dealing with the fucking Billy Cundiff jokes for what's it been 11 years now at this point. I get one of my asshole friends text me a Billy Cundiff gif at least like twice a week.
That's one of them jokes like it's going to forever live. No matter, I don't care if we have 10 Super Bowl rings. Like that's just but
yeah.
I mean, it is what it is, though, man. I mean, I'm glad we got our revenge the following year, but just imagine if we would have won, if he would have caught that ball, or even if he would have made that field goal.
Then we're talking about a Ravens potential dynasty in the early 2010s, and there's no way they let Anquan walk after the second one, and
does Ray Lewis
a lot of
retire?
things are different.
Yeah, does Ray Lewis retire after that second one?
Probably not.
If we got back to back, probably not. Does Ed Reed leave?
I mean, but would Ray Lewis have retired after the first one?
That's a fair
question. I don't
question.
think so. No,
I think he probably would have gave it another run. He would have gave it a run probably till shit start looking ugly. Because you can't win them all the time. But yeah,
I mean maybe we paid
Shamar Bridges though. But keep an eye on Shamar Bridges though. I like him.
I like Benjamin Victor more. That's more my my sleeper guy. But Shamar Bridges is a solid choice. The big guy. You can't teach people how to be big.
You know what, Drew? Drew, I'm starting to think, man. We think just alike, man. Because I like Victor too. I just feel like we wasn't using him. But with this Todd Monken offense, maybe we could use him.
Yeah, especially if we don't go out and get like a Quentin Johnson or Mingo or an H.E. Perry. Somebody in the draft who's bigger. Like Bridges or Victor could be that guy. We need somebody who's a little bit taller than 6 feet. So.
Yeah, we need size.
We have those guys.
Sure.
We have a couple guys that haven't really gotten looks. And again, Greg Roman did not use wide receivers well. And we have an offensive coordinator who now uses people well. So you never know. Again, Isaiah Likely could have a huge year next year. It's another guy that again I feel like was not utilized correctly. Charlie Kohler, again, that could be like a red zone monster.
Yeah, they started feeding him a lot when he came back.
He had that week 18 game. He had a great game.
Yeah, against the Bengals.
Yep. Oh yeah, Cincy,
yeah.
I actually met him that game too. He's pretty cool. He's a pretty cool dude.
Tall guy, huh?
Yeah, he's like
he's tall as shit. I was looking like, oh yeah, we're gonna use you next year. He said, yeah, for sure.
So what else? What else happened this week that we haven't talked about?
I mean, really, it's the draft.
Yeah,
draft there's been a lot of smoke with the DeAndre Hopkins stuff. If you go back to the
possibility.
Well, so you go. It was Slay that was the first one that kind of hinted at it, and he didn't say any names, but people went and the only wide receiver that was rumored to be on the move that he followed was Hopkins, and they have some kind of tie. I think they both negotiated contracts without agents, and him, Richard Sherman, and DeAndre Hopkins have some kind of relationship. And then you had that was it Michael Lombardi, I think, did the podcast where he said that Lamar demanded that they bring Odell and DeAndre Hopkins in. And
That is
then
correct.
he said that Hopkins wouldn't work because of the money, and so the Ravens went and got Odell. And then Hopkins came out and said, "I'm not looking for a raise." So that started setting off red flags. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of smoke with that. I feel like there's a big potential that he could come here if Lamar signs an extension. That's got to be the prerequisite. I don't think we can. I don't think we have enough money in restructures to clear to fit our draft class and fit Hopkins under the cap. But if you get Lamar to clear, I think it's like 24 million we could save with an extension with him,
Yeah.
or 25 mil. And then you got another $19 million in reasonable restructures. You could get DeAndre Hopkins here, and you can still fit your draft class under the cap, and you can still have some money to play around with for like depth signings.
Well, and there's guys on that can be cut too. I mean, there's more money to be found. We talked about one already.
Yeah, Proche, if we get Hopkins, maybe Duvernay becomes expendable at that point. And again, that's $4 million, and that's not a huge number, but that's a decent chunk of change you can pull off.
When you're talking about just creating like operating cap flexibility after all those moves, then $4 million becomes very valuable because the amount of money you're going to be spending in season on practice squad players and in mid-season transactions for guys coming off the street, stuff like that, it's minimal. We're talking about $600,000 cap hits. So
well, I think D-Hop is very doable. I mean, I think it's very much on the table, and and everything that's been coming out, I mean, it's essentially down to the Bills, Ravens, and Chiefs, and I mean, I think that the biggest shot out of all of that is DeAndre Hopkins. I mean, I think he would prefer to come to, I mean, I don't know. I think Baltimore would be his destination, not saying it from a bias standpoint, but you look at the offense with Monkey coming in, him and Odell are friends. Like, there's just too many things that point to the signs of having DeAndre there. And man, that would be a crazy change of events.
I mean, we would go from literally the worst wide receiver. We'd have the worst wide receiver in the room, worst wide receiver room in the NFL last year to Bateman, Beckham, and Hopkins as our top three this year. That would be fucking wild. That would be like the biggest turnaround in a wide receiver room that I think we could expect.
Yeah, I mean, it was people were just talking about get Hopkins, and that solves everything. If you get Hopkins and Odell, I mean, now if that happens, there's no way we're drafting a wide receiver that you should expect to see much of. Obviously.
No, but then you're looking at, you go grab, right now, like Joey Porter Jr. is the corner that I'm looking at in the first round. That's the guy at 22 that I would go after. But, now you're talking about maybe you take Forbes there, or, maybe you trade down and you take Brents in the second round. There's more options there for you to go do.
What are we comfortable doing to get Hopkins? Because, maybe you do, maybe they want to, like, say they're asking for a third.
86 overall is theirs. I'm not even blinking.
Yeah, but say someone else comes in, and we're talking about day of the draft. We're not, we're talking about. So say someone else is in there with a third. There's a bunch of teams with thirds, and it's coming. Well, I'm saying, what if they were willing to do Hopkins and their second round pick for our first round pick? Are we comfortable going from 22 to 34?
Without a doubt, 100%. Right. I'm pulling the trigger.
I'll take that.
So that I think can be our like trump card for a lot of teams.
As long as they're not looking for multiple first round picks, I'm in. I could care less what they want.
It's just us moving back to get DeAndre Hopkins. I mean, that's a no brainer, right? Because a lot of people are going to say, "Oh, he's not worth a first round pick," but you're not giving him a first round pick. You're really just moving back, and they may have done it anyway. They may have been looking to do that regardless. But if you can get DeAndre Hopkins along with it, or maybe they want they want to do the pick swap and like a 6th round pick or something like that. I don't know. I think I'm okay with that.
How much of the contract do you think they would eat?
That's the part that where the on the Ravens side. If they want say they wanted, okay, we want a day 3 pick as well. All right, well, you can have our 6th round pick. We need you to eat, 60% of the cap for this year, and then we'll take on the rest of the contract.
Yeah, or you get that. What do you get? Like a 24-hour window, I think, that you can rip up the deal and do a new one after you agree in principle of the trade.
I don't know the specific rules. I'm not gonna say something and have you throw it back in my face if I'm wrong someday. You'll pull this clip and be like, look, you said this on April 20th, 2023.
Grant, take notes.
I've already been writing them down.
But yeah, I mean, there's ways to do it where I think if teams are in a bidding war just with the third round pick, or even like they're offering a second round pick. We can come in with a first round pick and be comfortable with it because we're already considering taking a wide receiver in the first round. So
Does
DeAndre
Patrick
Hopkins
Queen-
is better than what we're going to get, right?
Yeah, and does like Patrick Queen move
Right.
the needle for them?
I don't.
You
Yeah,
know,
that's another thing. Patrick Queen is definitely, and you talk about getting cap space back. I mean, I think he's got a decent amount of caps. Not it's nothing huge, but I think it's probably $4 or $5 million, right?
Yeah, it's a decent amount of money. And again, if it's a third and Queen for Hopkins and like a sixth or something like that, like that's a trade you got to make.
Yeah.
And I like Queen. I think Queen is a very underrated part of our defense now, but he's also a luxury. So it's kind of like I'd rather have Hopkins than Queen at this point.
Well, and he doesn't even have to be part of that. I think we can, he's definitely worth something decent to someone. So if people, and I think we talked about this last week, but if teams are calling, we should be listening to anything they're saying on that.
Yeah, or you flip Queen for a pick and then you send that pick to Arizona.
Right.
That's
right. That's another thing. Like you load up some picks so that you can really sweeten up the Hopkins deal. Because if that is going to be the difference between Lamar Jackson coming off the demands and actually coming to the table and agreeing on a fair market deal, or continuing to stick to this ridiculous demand to go get DeAndre Hopkins, then fucking do it, because it's a win-win. You get DeAndre Hopkins and you get Lamar Jackson.
Right, and that was like
I hope we do that.
That whole we overpaid for Odell. Like I think people miss the whole point that Lamar requested him, and so no matter what you paid Odell, you're also taking something off the top for Lamar there. And whether it's you're actually taking money back or you're just bringing him to the table with Odell here, like it helps the team a lot more than just what Odell does on the field.
You're right. Yeah, and the alternative is whatever the fuck they're going to trot out there at quarterback if we don't have Lamar Jackson. So,
Please
take your pick.
Huntley.
Right.
Please not Huntley. Anybody but
Please
Huntley.
not Huntley.
Yeah, oh my god. Again, that's another guy that I'm like, irrationally hard on. I'm sure he's a nice guy and all, but like we just can't. I can't do another year. I've watched that.
So
man
was
live
it
enough
like?
time.
So what makes you feel that way? Was it like last season? Well, not last season. The year before that, or was it like this year, or maybe? Oh, before I'm about to ask what I was going to ask. Was it like before then?
So it was last year, like 2021. I didn't think he was very good at the end of the year, but
Okay.
again, he was also a rookie, and wasn't really expected
Undrafted
to do
rookie.
well.
Yeah, I mean, just
Undrafted rookie. So I'm like, all right,
Right.
maybe that's just like growing pains, jitters, whatever. Like, fine. And then the end of last year, so the end of 2022, he just didn't improve at all. And again, even like running the ball, we made fun of him on the podcast a couple times, but like he runs right into defenders. Like he puts his top of his head right into a defender's chest. Like he's going to get knocked out of 10 games a year because he just runs like an idiot.
yeah.
I don't know.
He
biggest,
like a he like a tackling dummy out there. He just
Yeah.
I don't get it, man.
the biggest problem with Huntley, it's not even his fault, but like we've had to see too much of him. You don't want to see that guy play 11 fucking games or 10 games, or I guess
In the rig,
nine and a half.
We've
Whatever.
never had
We've had a couple of different guys sprinkled in there, but you never want to see that much of your backup, especially when it's a backup who really had no business being in the position to begin with. So he's definitely overachieved, but to see that much of him, it just gives you way too much of a glimpse into how far away he is from really being a starting quarterback. He shouldn't be starting, and
Right,
it's not his fault that he was asked to, but you got to be ready. And like Drew said, he didn't really get better from year one to year two.
so
Enough
at the
better
end of
anyway.
in 2019, we had RG3 as a backup, and he came in for the second half of some games that we were blowing teams out, or we had him play that last game against Pittsburgh, and like he looked like a professional quarterback. He wasn't great, but he wasn't like
Right.
there weren't glaring flaws in his game, and I feel like Huntley has those. We had Tyrod Taylor back in the day, and again, that's a guy who went and got a couple starting jobs afterwards. Like I just don't think Tyler Huntley is that good. And again, UDFA, like we shouldn't be expecting him to step up to be a all pro caliber quarterback, but it's just like we need somebody else if it's not going to be Lamar, because I don't think we can roll out Huntley again and expect to win a lot of games.
Yeah, especially after that. I just hate. It's like every time somebody talk about it, I'm just because I was at the game and it's just that shit's sad, man. I still couldn't believe he did that play. That that what 100 and
That
something
QB
yards or whatever it was.
Yeah, that Cuban sneak was fucking.
QB sneak
Well,
from
yeah.
the 2-yard line.
And like
He can fly.
Right, but see, the thing about it was, I was sitting behind the Ravens bench, right, and I lied to you not, right. I just kept saying, "Yeah, JK gonna get the ball," because I was on Instagram Live. I just kept making videos, talking shit, because I was just like ready to just shut them up. Because Bengal fans. One thing I realized about them, like when they start losing, they want to start talking nasty and getting all, you know what I mean. So I was just waiting for that time, and then he just went up, and then I didn't really get to see the play until I got back to my hotel room, and then when I really saw the play, I'm like, did this motherfucker really do that? Like, because from my
Yeah.
angle, I really thought he was like really near the goal line, but he was really like 2.5 yards short. Like, it wasn't like we was really like by the 1.5 yard line where
No,
he could just jump up. But I'm looking like, what the?
he's like 10 feet out.
Yeah, and it's just like, wow. So to be honest with you, by me just saying that play right there, yeah, he's not the like. I mean, I guess he's he an all right quarterback, but he's not like the backup quarterback I want to see. Like, because if you did that dumbass play, ain't no telling what else you'll do when it's, you know what I mean? But
You know who he is? He's the guy, like, if he had been called into action because Lamar Jackson went into the concussion protocol in like the middle of the third quarter in a game, he's the guy who can give you that quarter and a half and look decent enough and keep momentum
Presentable.
going. Right. But you don't want him to start the next game. You're really hoping Lamar clears that protocol and you don't have to have him go out there and start the game, because if a defense has a full week to prepare for him, tell me one signature game he's had that he's been the starter. Doesn't have one. The best one he had is probably that Bengals game, but the play we all remember from it is the ridiculous attempt to dunk the ball from midcourt. So it's just he's a guy who probably will never be a starting quarterback, and the reason is what I just said. Like, everybody in the whole league has seen now him start 10 games basically. So like, you kind of know who he is. Is he really going to get that much better? I guess unless he turns into like Geno Smith and somehow has like a career renaissance. But Geno Smith was a highly touted quarterback coming out of college. So
Yeah, and Geno Smith was good for a couple of years with the Jets. Like, it wasn't great, but he at least showed flashes of being like a competent NFL quarterback.
right.
And I don't think Huntley's ever shown anything more than, like you said, he could give you a couple quarters of decent football, where he's not going to fuck it up for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, it's like I don't hate the guy, but it's just he's just not the move at that point.
I would honestly rather, if the decision was we don't have a backup quarterback, I would rather they call RG3 to come be the fucking backup quarterback this season than have Tyler Huntley be the backup again.
Or I keep going back to it, but Stetson Bennett. Again, he knows the offensive coordinator. Like, that's a huge leg up for a backup quarterback.
Oh yeah, I'm saying if we have the exact situation we have right now, and right now we actually don't even have any quarterbacks under contract, as far as maybe we have Brown on the practice squad or something, or on a futures deal or something like that. But right now I don't think we have any signed to any like that. I don't think Huntley signed his tender yet. So
I don't think Huntley can sign his tender. So I looked into it more because it's that right of first refusal one.
Right. I don't think right. So it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think it's in like July at some point. If nobody tries to sign him, it just kind of like converts to a $2 million contract with us. So like, I think he's got a $2 million cap hold right now, and I think that eventually it'll like convert into that contract if nobody signs him. So I mean, he's here, but he's not here. Anybody could come and take
Well, he's
him.
not at workouts. We didn't have any quarterbacks at workouts, but I don't think they were doing much football activity. They were just doing conditioning.
Yeah, we're notorious for our hardcore conditioning program. So.
Well, we don't know.
See if that changes without Steve, though.
Right.
Yeah, that
Steve out of here now, so we
Thank God.
gonna see what's up there.
Yeah. Again, another guy. Just why was he still here? I'll never understand that.
Yeah, I was on that. I was on that bandwagon with him too. Like, man, he should have been out of here.
After he gave everybody COVID in 2020, he should have been gone. Like, that was my breaking point with him, where I'm like, you just infected the whole team. We had to play a Thanksgiving game on like a random Tuesday night.
It was Wednesday afternoon.
Wednesday afternoon.
Yeah, Wednesday afternoon or whatever.
It's like a 3:30 p.m. kickoff or some weird shit. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and that was because of like NFLPA regulations that if we didn't play at that exact time, there wouldn't have been enough of a gap between that and Sunday's games to actually, allow the players to play.
Right.
It's just fucking bizarre. The fact that guy was still employed after that, I have no idea why.
Yeah, that's
well, his ass gone. His ass gone now. So we're gonna see what happens.
Thank you, Jesus, on that front. But anywho, that's gonna do it for this week's installment. First, before I say anything, fuck the Warriors, light the beam, Sacramento proud. You know what it is. We will be
Jake,
back.
do you have any random NBA score updates for us this week?
Yeah, the Sixers beat the fucking what's their face? The Nets.
The Nets.
And the first
Yes.
yeah,
Joel
the Nets.
Embiid kicked somebody in the dick. I saw that.
And then
Yeah,
James Harden
and-
got ejected for like elbowing somebody.
Yeah. And then
That's what happened.
Yeah, he elbowed I don't remember who was on the Nets in the face, but he he was trying to cross him up and like elbowed him in the face and got kicked out right away.
I thought maybe he got hurt or something because I want to try and be rude. I got the game on mute and I was like, damn, did he get hurt? He messed my parlay up. But damn, thank you. I know now. That's just crazy.
Yeah, they kicked him right out for some reason.
They
I have no
probably,
idea
you know
why.
why? Because the Earl in the beginning, Embiid kicked the dude in the dick, and
Yeah.
and there was a big melee, so they probably warned both sides that if there was any
Cheap
rough
shots, yeah.
play, that you're automatic ejection. That's what I would assume.
Well,
Just like
and
in
the
baseball.
NBA is on high alert with the Draymond thing too. So
Right. Yeah. They're not trying
Fuck
to
the
have
Warriors.
playoff malice at the Palace.
we're due for
I
one.
mean-
I need a Malice at the
I'll-
Palace 2.0.
I'll give you a hot take.
Twitter
That's
needs
what-
it.
The NBA
Twitter needs it.
badly needs another Malice at the Palace. Like
Yeah.
they need that.
I thought
That
Russell
may be-
Westbrook was going to punch that fan in the face the other day. That would have been fucking great when he went into the people with the floor seats, their little lounge at halftime. Just walked up to some guys.
That screenshot was like,
Yeah.
I thought it was photoshopped. I was like, what the fuck? There's a player just
Just
standing
some-
in the there with the.
There's some little ass kid looking over his shoulder, like, what's going on? That was fucking great. Yeah, I thought he was going to punch that guy right in the face. If anybody's going to do a Malice at the Palace 2.0, it's Russell Westbrook.
Yeah.
He'll beat the fuck out of somebody. I'm here for it.
Hey, Jake, before we
Muscle chest
end, we got to thank Trippy for coming on.
Hey, Trippy. Thank you so much for
Yeah, my
coming
guy.
on. It's been a pleasure
No
doing
problem.
the shit with you, G. Go Ravens.
He'll be
Fuck
back.
Steve Saunders. We will be
he'll
back.
for sure.
We'll have you on again later on when the season progresses. Maybe before, who knows? But either way,
Yeah, for sure.
since I am 40 minutes south of Sacramento, California, fuck the Warriors, light the beam, Sacramento proud. And that's going to do it for this episode. We will be back to discuss this, that, and the other. But meanwhile, it's time for me to die.
No, Grant.
Trippy's never listened all the way to the end. I bet. He's like, what the fuck is that?
Zone 32.